Alright guys, welcome back. I'm breaking it down. I've got about 90% of everything torn apart here. Well, I got the pan apart and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, man, it's in a lot better shape than I thought it was. I mean, just a couple scratches, but that's it. But you know what? I'm not, like I said, I'm not worried about these little scratches, but I mean, there's not that many anyways. You know, just a couple in the back there. You can see the A stamp. But it is a Cadillac, 100%, and it's straight, it's in good shape, so I mean I'm pretty happy with it, no doubt. So I'm just breaking everything down. I just got the front end to disassemble, but I took apart the diff. I just wanted to make sure everything was good in the diff. I mean, when it was together, it felt like it was moving freely, but when I open it up, I mean it's clearly you know, the grease is pitted and dried up, so it's not, it needs to be rebuilt for sure. So I'm going to redo that. And then I also found out that it does have bushings, so you can see one bushing there. So I'm going to go ahead and locate some bearings for it, and then I'm going to redo them. One thing I noticed is there's play in here. I don't think I have to look in the manual and see what springs are in there, but these run free. The axles here, the axle gears, they run pretty freely, but I want to make sure that there's not too much play in those. And the upper shaft. So thrust bearings look good, not missing any bearings. The plates don't look grooved in. It's pretty smooth, but I'm gonna refinish them anyways for those, for the slipper. It's obviously not the original spur, but it looks like it's good shape. I noticed I had a little bit of a wobble, but I know it was missing a washer, and you know it wasn't adjusted correctly on there. So I'm going to redo that. And then I also found out there was only two screws holding the diff together, and that included one that screwed right into the plate. So taking that apart, I discovered it's missing screws, which is good because now I know. And then I got to order all these 1/2-inch 832 gold screws, because they're all pretty much stripped shot from whoever was messing with it before. But yeah, I mean, some of the diff, they look good. Everything looks fine in the diff. It's been so long since I've taken one of these apart, and I forgot there's only 2 plastic gears in here. So, and then they look fine. They don't look they're not missing any teeth. They're not shaved up. And I'll probably go ahead and file them down like we used to do in the olden days, just to make sure that it's not binding. But it moved freely before, but I can't believe it was missing 2 of those screws. That's ridiculous. So I'm going to rebuild that, re-grease everything up, and then go from there. Then I got to disassemble the front next, but the shocks turned out pretty good when I was taking those apart. The backs, the front I have to do. And it had an old servo in it, an old S28 servo. That's an old one. It's like a, you can see that S28 or whatever. So, but yeah, I'm happy about the pan being in such good shape. So this is part 2 of the teardown of my my Cadillac A stamp. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of the diff apart. I'm going to bag up all those parts. I got to make a note of what I got to order for new screws, and then new screws for the diff. I'm going to look at the manuals to get the exact size, because it was missing 2. There's 4 total, and only 1 was into the plate, so it's kind of shady. So, and then I'm going to look at all the bearing stuff and make sure everything's fine. I'll probably re-sand them down and make sure they're smooth. So, surviving and rebuilding and saving another Cadillac. Alright guys, stay tuned for part 3. Part 3 is just going to consist of showing the parts cleaned up, and maybe the diff or something, but I got a lot of work on this to scrape all that glue off and tape off, so I'll probably get it soaked in some stuff to help loosen that up. So cool, thanks guys.